Cultural traditions like a river flow through the bridges of time, braving the winds of change. Cultural traditions handed down from generations embrace the soul of a people. Folk songs are one such tradition that have kept alive the cultural heritage of the Oriental Negrense. Over the passage of time, Oriental Negrenses spontaneously have sang about everything they did, their customs, and the desired virtues in people. That is how these folk songs evolved and were handed down. Today, in the verdant fields and mountains of the province, in the placid waters of the Tañon Strait, in the banks of the flowing streams and rivers, and in any place of gathering in both urban and rural areas, these descriptive folk songs handed down from generations can still be heard, reverberating the rituals of everyday life, the various stages of life, humor, courtship, family life, love, joyful pleasures, and sorrow. The melodic and happy rhythm of many folk songs are enjoyed not only by Filipinos, but by foreigners as well. The arrival of the Spaniards, followed by the Americans in the country, introduced Western influences into Philippine music. Some folk songs of the Oriental Negrenses were composed by adapting Western tunes which were heard during the war and post-war years, and then infused with words in the local dialect. As the Filipino fell under the yoke of the colonizers, the yearning for freedom was expressed through song. In the dark of night, Filipinos composed songs for battle against the conquistadores and songs over victorious battles. Mrs. Priscilla Magdamo, singer and choral director, recalls that when she fled Dumaguete City during the Japanese occupation, she heard echoes of men singing folk songs under the cover of trees. One of them was Senator Lorenzo Teves, who was in the company of other guerrillas. The composo is a type of folk song in the Visayas, classified as a narrative song or ballad, whose subject matter usually involves sensational happenings, such as calamities and disasters, tragic love affairs, domestic tragedies, and war. Handed down orally from one generation to the next, folk songs articulate the various beliefs, feelings, aspirations, value systems of a particular people, and also how they deal with and make sense of their world. Some of these folk songs include the famous Kinhason, or seashells, which enumerates the names of shells found in the sea in this area. The Day Baling Mingawa, translated literally means, "Miss, how lonely it is." During the war, Priscilla Magdamo related that this song was sung in the mountains of Valencia, where friends on different hills sang as a type of conversation. The folk song Dalaga sa Bukid, or Young Woman in the Mountain, Inday Baileta, translated as Dance with Me Lady, and Pahalok Ako Day, translated as Girl May I Kiss You, are but a few of the original compositions of Oriental Negros. Another famous folk song, Kaningaw sa Payag, originated from Leyte but was adapted in Oriental Negros. In Oriental Negros, the song and rhythm of tradition is kept alive, deep in the heart of the cities, in the remotest of barrios, and in the farthest of mountains.
Because of the time that has come about, there have been a lot of changes. The bands that do reggae music every night in the restaurants, that's a new trend. 5 to 10 years ago, that was not yet part of the Oriental tradition. This is relatively new. The traditional music really that occurred a long time ago, they're still there. But we need to go into the deeper parts of the places, like for example the Balitaw. They still exist. But we need to go up to the mountain in Valencia and say, can you do something for us? Or unlike in Bukidnon where they have this every year thing,
Yes.
we don't have that here, except in Tanhay, I think. They celebrate their Budbud month, and then you can find traditional stuff there.
These are the Daigon, Balak, and Balitaw. These cultural practices face the challenge of surviving the frenetic pace of the modern age. Yet they endure, having survived centuries of social, political, and cultural upheaval. Philippine music, the poetic language of the Filipino heart. The Daigon, o Panulindao, is a traditional form of caroling. It is a sung dialogue and an outdoor reenactment of the Annunciation of the Angel Gabriel to the Blessed Virgin Mary to the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem. The Daigon originated from Spain. Originally called Villancico, they were first developed as secular songs and later applied to the popular religious songs that arose from the tradition of the Cantigas de Maria. Introduced in the Philippines in their pure style, they were translated into the different vernaculars. The term Villancico was then substituted by the Filipino term Daigon. One of the earliest forms of Daigon was the pastores. While dancers execute the staccato and syncopated rhythms with castanets, guitars, tambourines, and occasionally the harp supply the accompaniment. In the municipality of La Libertad in Oriental Negros, harps are still used in the performance of the Daigon. These instruments are manufactured in a remote mountain area. The integration of Filipino folk songs with European influence gave way to stage plays like zarzuelas and various forms of music, like brass and rondalia bands, the kumintang, jota, habanera, pandango, polka, and balitaw. Like music, poetry is the language that explores the inner recesses of a person's heart. Ideas and emotion are expanded in metaphorical language. Visayan poetry, called the Balak, is known for its refinement and subtlety. It is a tribute to the Visayan gift of speech.
Luparon ko tong kalangitan, uguma ni ana. Tasa tagsawod ako pagpunit-punit niya itong mga bituon sa langit. Ug akong himong ulintas, ug akong ikulintas sa imong katahon. Dalagang.
The Balitaw tradition is a performance that integrates song, dance, and oral debate between a male and female artist. The Balitaw is a song-dance debate characterized by an extemporaneous exchange of love verses between male and female singers. Combining wit and musicality, Balitaw performers are accompanied by a guitar or harp. Each one tries to outwit the other on various themes of love, courtship, and marriage. The Balitaw is performed in a town plaza as a form of public entertainment, or in wedding ceremonies. The debate is witty, humorous, and performed spontaneously. Danced and mimed, it is accompanied by a song, or the dancers themselves sing, improvising the steps and verses. This song and debate may last for hours, ending with the woman accepting or rejecting the man's suit. Some have opined that its original form could have been derived from musical genres dating to pre-Hispanic times and reached its golden age during the early part of the 20th century. The Balitaw is still widely performed in the Visayas, and Balitaw music is now part of the Rondalia musical repertoire. This particular tradition is most fun to watch because of the spontaneous ad-libs of performers during live performances. There can be no Balitaw performances that are exactly the same, says Matilda Limbaga Erojo, Master Students in Ethnomusicology at the College of Performing Arts, Silliman University. Part of Spain's colonial legacy in the country is the rondalia, an ensemble of string instruments. The rondalla is often referred to as the Filipino stringed band. Initially, the Spanish rondalla was composed of bandurias, violins, guitars, basses, flutes, cellos, tambourines, castanets, and triangles. Later, Filipinos modified its compositions to fit local flavor. Included in the ensemble are the banduria, the laud, octavina, guitar, piccolo, and bajo. These instruments are made from local wood like langka, camagong, nara, tangile, and Philippine mahogany. The mandola or bandolina was later added by Juan Silos Jr., who is known as the father of the rondalla. It has a wide repertoire, ranging from folk to contemporary tunes, as well as Filipino to Western classics. The most commonly played are folk tunes like the balitaw, harana, balse, danza, marches, and lullabies. The effort to preserve this musical tradition has compelled groups of musicians who have migrated to other foreign countries to organize rondalla groups abroad. There has also been an extensive revival of this form of music, especially in schools. Still another tradition is the inagta. This performative tradition includes ritual, folk dance, plucked string music, and oral literature, particularly in the town of Siaton, Oriental Negros. Another important tradition of the Negrenses is the choral tradition brought about by the coming of missionaries and continued by the different schools of music in the province. The harana is a traditional form of courtship in the Philippines, in which a man woos a woman's affection by singing underneath her window. In Oriental Negros, the harana or serenade is played by a group of young musicians called the cumbanchero. In the older days, a woman's acceptance of this show of affection would be by opening her window or coming out of the house. Today, students who live in university campuses follow this harana tradition by singing to friends on birthdays or special occasions. Unlike in the past, where the harana was performed late in the evening, the harana is now done at break of dawn also. The evolution of Filipino music is a living timeline of Philippine history. It is a retelling of our past and weaves with it music stories of our culture. And like the way a river flows endlessly through the mountains and valleys, the efforts to forge continuous paths of preserving these legacies should continue. Heard loud and sung clear in the deepest of forests, in the farthest of seas, in schools and homes, and in the warmth of our hearts.